Now we are going to see how commas work in English. And we are going to be very, very careful on understanding what's the definition of phrases and how they work in English, especially when we are talking about prepositional phrases, right? How can we start with this? Let's read. Let's read first what we have here, and then we are going to explain all together. So help me, Isaac, with the first section and the first examples.
Yes. Okay. You will often see commas, parentheses used alongside one another. The question is, do you place the comma after parentheses or before? Generally, generally speaking, commas should never be placed before parentheses. Consider the examples below and note the proper comma placement. The first example is after opening the new cookie tin and eating several of cookies, uh, Mary had a hard time replacing the lid. Uh, and the comma is before the parentheses. And the second example is after opening the new cookie tin and eating several of cookies, Mary had a hard time replacing the lid.
That's correct.
Okay.
So, which one, according to the text, which one is correct? The first position of the comma or the second position of the comma?
The second.
Yes, the second
Right,
is after one.
totally. Because we never use commas before the parentheses. I don't know if that is possible in Spanish. I'm not really sure. But in English, we need to consider that commas will separate concepts and ideas. So it's not only a pause, it's not only a stop to breathe, you know? It's more like a sentence, a continuation, you know? The parenthesis. And all the idea is interrupted until this point, after the parenthesis. The parenthesis will be part of the principal idea. Okay, so it's incorrect to separate these ideas by using the comma. Okay, now talking about that, let's understand, before we continue, let's understand what is a prepositional phrase and an introductory phrase, because that particular section is very, very important. I need you to watch this example with me. Okay, check this out. Help me reading the first part. Rafa.
Yes, prepositional phrases. Use a comma to separate a group of prepositional phrases of more than 4 words when the phrases come at the beginning of the sentence.
You see what I mean?
Sorry?
Continue, because we haven't checked the examples.
Okay. Do not use a comma between separate phrases unless they are in a series. Okay, a comma may also set off a single prepositional phrase at the beginning to make the sentence clear. A comma is recommended after any introductory prepositional phrase of more than 4 words.
Totally right. Let's see
Okay,
the examples.
correct. Under the kitchen table, the dog cowered.
Okay, pronunciation.
Cowered.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Very good.
Under the kitchen table, the dog cowered. Single, short, clear phrase, no comma needed.
Okay, let's stop and think why the comma is not needed in this case. Number one, because the sentence is so short that it's not necessary to separate concepts that are unrelated. You can say, under the kitchen table, the dog coward, or detect the subject verb complement and reaccommodate the sentence. How would you say it?
Can you repeat the last part?
Sure. Read the sentence and detect person verb complement. What's the person, what's the verb, and what's the complement?
Okay. Coward is the verb.
Coward is the verb. Good.
Dog is the subject,
Nice. A specific dog. The dog.
the dog, and the complement is under the kitchen table.
Exactly. Therefore, it's no difference if you say under the kitchen table the dog covered or the dog covered under the kitchen.
Okay,
There's no real, you cannot hear a difference between these two. The
yeah,
information is concise, you only change the position, and the comma is not necessary.
yeah. I was thinking that I have always believed the punctuation in English and in Spanish is the same.
We're the same. No surprise,
But,
no?
but for example, this sentence in Spanish, I would put a comma
Yes.
after table. Yeah,
Exactly. That's correct. That's the reason when you are reading, it's very strange. The sensation of reading in English is so strange because it's this sentence, I cannot find the subject of this sentence, you know?
yeah,
Some people get confused, and let's say, for example, table the dog, you know? Because there is no
yeah,
comma, I can understand that this is a subject, and it's so weird, so strange, you
yeah,
know? So that was a very good observation. In Spanish, we would put a comma here, but in English is not that necessary. Unless the information goes further on. That if the information is longer, then the comma is necessary. In the same idea, person verb complement. Check this out. Help me read the next example. Michael. Michael. Okay, Michael is not here, so let's go with, can Silvana speak or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, so then Aristoteles, help us with the next one.
All right, so under the spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands.
That's right. Detect person, verb, and complement.
Right. I think subject is the village.
Right.
Verb is stands.
Correct. It's incomplete, eh?
Verb is
The village smithy is the subject.
the village smithy. All right. The village smithy. Village smithy is the subject, stands is the verb, and the complement is under the spreading chestnut tree.
Perfect. That is totally correct. And that is very interesting because look at this complement. Under the spreading chestnut tree has more information than the previous one. What kind of information do we have? Well, we have a complex noun. A complex noun is a noun that has many descriptions before you say the noun. In the first example, we have the kitchen table. It's only one object, and there is no, how can I tell you, interpretation here. It's only a kitchen table. But if you speak about a tree that is a type of a chestnut that is spreading at the same time, then you have way too much information before you mention the tree. And that's the reason we need a comma.
So that's called a complex noun.
That's called well, that's what I call a complex noun.
All right.
You know, I call a complex noun, and actually this is something that I teach in the previous level. Let me show you. Actually, it's going to be for the next month. A complex noun is a noun that is preceded by a long chain of adjectives. Just like this. For example, this one. Laura wants a venti almond milk white mocha. Being mocha, the noun. You see?
Oh, all right.
You see what I mean, right?
Yeah, so lots of descriptions.
Lots of descriptions, exactly.
Right. Before
This
the
chain
noun.
of words is normally adding way too much information before the principal subject. And that's when I need to use a comma. Don't worry, we are going to talk about complex nouns in the next month. But precisely this is one of the reasons we need a comma, when the information is way too wide.
All right, all right.
Now, for example, in the case of Isaac, Rafa, and Michael, how do you form, or how often do you form this chain of adjectives? I think this would be a good idea to mention it right now.
How often?
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't use this kind of things too much because I don't know how to do that. I mean, if I try to do that, I think that I will not use the correct order. So I think that that's why I'm not using this. Because I think that it's something common, no? For example, when you ask for a coffee, as we have here, when you are describing maybe a place, even a simple object like a chair,
Yes.
Even a person, I think.
Totally. Yeah. Totally right. Exactly. It's so common. Everybody uses it. So the reason we should like start using this specific accommodation of words is because it mostly used in literary language. On a speech is usually common too, but we can practice this in the writing. So let's take as the first challenge that we are going to use for this week's writing will be to use a chain of adjectives before the comma. You know? An example would be, let me find one. I'm gonna find one for you. Here's another one. Look at this. Read this one, Isaac.
Yes, the one that is highlighted. Okay, a stack of pancakes and a lot of coffee make for a delicious breakfast.
The chart is telling us that the comma is incorrect here because we cannot separate the lot of coffee and the pancakes. The subject, the verb actually takes the two things. But this is exactly what we are talking about. A stack of is a very common chain of adjectives. And The most common that we have learned from the beginning is a lot of. That's a classic one.
Okay.
That's another example of a complex noun. Mm, Another example before a comma. Read this one.
Yes, according to a recent review by the cold case team, the, the perpetrators' implication in the crime was based on a circumstantial evidence only.
Okay, let me correct you on pronunciation.
Yes. That's perpetrators.
Exactly.
Perpetrator.
Perpetrator.
Perpetrator. Okay.
Yeah,
Perpetrator.
very good.
Okay, according to a recent review by the cold case team, the perpetrator, but now I don't remember the pronunciation.
You can do this. You can do this. Perpetrator. 4 syllables.
Perpetrators.
Excellent.
Perpetrators.
Perpetrator.
Okay. Implication in the crime was based on a circumstantial evidence only.
That's right.
Uh,
So that's what we're talking about here. A recent review is another complex noun.
yes.
The gold-based team is another complex noun. And all together makes a prepositional phrase. You see?
Okay, yes.
Crazy, no?
Yes.
It's a formation of words. So, and probably you use it already, but you haven't like
Yes.
analyzed it this way, no?
Yes, maybe. Yes, it's something possible.
We're gonna study that later on, but yes, it's very very common the way we say it. Now, the one we have here, it's not that common. This is very very lyrical, very literary, and that's the reason it's a little bit strange. But it's the same. It's just a noun preceded by different adjectives that form the context of the sentence. Okay, usually followed by a comma. Let's talk about the next one. Help me, Rafa, with the third example.
Yes, teacher. Under the pile of clothes, we found his wallet.
Under the pile of clothes. Two prepositional phrases. This is incorrect. But anyway, this is similar to the previous one.
Yeah.
The pile of clothes is a too much information, and under is a connector. Therefore,
Yes.
we need a comma.
Yes, is as the previous example.
Exactly.
Because it's under the pile of clothes is the complement. Found is the verb. We is the noun.
Subject.
Sorry, the subject. Yes. Yes.
And his wallet is just the complement of the main idea. No?
Yes.
Precisely. It's the same as if we say, we found his wallet under the pile of clothes. Only that the second accommodation doesn't need a comma because it's a natural form of speech.
Yeah, we found his wallet under the pile of clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the natural way to communicate.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally right. We can view it like this. Imagine this. So you have these two formulas, right? Imagine that the first one is longer, the second one is longer, sorry, and we're going to add prepositional phrase plus comma, and then the complete idea. Of course, the prepositional phrase, I'm going to put it in our color code yellow because it's using prepositions, as we saw in previous classes. We can take inspiration from all the prepositions that exist. Under, over, into, after, before, in, on, at, over, I already said over, beneath, between, next to, you know? And they usually start the sentence, continue with a
Teacher.
comma, and everything. Rafa.
But here, prepositional phrase plus comma.
Yes, of course. For
Like,
example,
yeah.
Tell me.
No. I would like to listen to an example.
Let's say, well, actually, it's the ones that we have here. Under the spreading chestnut tree. No, here. Under the pile of clothes, that's a prepositional phrase.
Ah, okay.
See?
Okay.
Then, comma, person verb complement.
Okay, yeah. I understand it.
That's the one. This is what we call prepositional phrases. As a definition, we can take it. A prepositional phrase is a phrase beginning with prepositions and ending with a noun or a pronoun.
Okay. Very good.
Interesting, no? That's very different from what we have learned before. Then we get this one. Let's check why this one says incorrect. Tell me, Aristoteles.
Sorry, I was a bit busy, but yeah, I can participate.
Great.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so in this case, it's being, well, I think it's abusing the use of commas. It's using the commas a lot, and it is not necessary.
Totally. I like the way you explain it. It's abusing the use of commas.
Yeah. It's overusing. I don't know if that word exists.
It is.
Overusing.
Totally.
Yeah, it's overusing the commas. It's overusing commas, and I think it could be on the sand of the beach by the inlet. Then comma, we relaxed
Exactly.
in the sun.
Totally right. You are
I
totally
think.
right.
All right.
Perfect. So the connector by is telling us only position 2, similar to on, but that doesn't mean it's independent. Technically, it's all these together into the same phrase. The phrase should be all together. It's pretty much easy to understand why, no? Here's the correct version. On the sand of the beach by the inlet, comma, we relax by the sun. That's the one.
All right.
Precisely. Now, here are 2 commas. Let's see why this is correct. Let's check Isaac.
Yes, in which one?
The last one. Over
The
the
last
hill.
one? Okay. Over hill, over dale, with hit those trail. Over the 2 phrases are in series here. We could say over hill and over dale.
You see, because there are hill and dale sound like names of places. So then we need a comma right here, because normally we would say and. So a comma substitutes the connector and.
Okay, yes.
Take that as a note too. The comma will substitute or replace the connector and. Every time you watch a movie with English captions, observe the use of commas. That's something that we normally take for granted. The expression take for granted means we don't analyze it. We think it's the same. But then we realize that it's very, very, very different. Oh, Sylvan asked, what's Smithy? It's just the village Smithies. I think they are missing the capital letter because Smithy is a name. So the village Smithy should be with capital letter in this word over here. Similar here, hill and dale. Sounds weird. Okay. That's the one.
I searched for the village smithy and it says that it's, well, in Spanish it says la herrería del pueblo, the village smithy.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I think it's referring to Smith, to the Smith
To Smith,
occupation.
the occupation, exactly.
Yeah.
Spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy steals. The smithy is the person, and Smith is the one. I thought it was the name of the village. You're so right.
I searched it in the DeepL translator.
Yeah, that makes
Yes,
total sense.
Smithy. Yes, Smithy.
A blacksmith is a person who makes the swords of the warriors. Imagine, imagine the times of the Bell of the Beast. There was a smith always
Yeah.
hitting metal.
Blacksmith.
Exactly.
Blacksmith. All
So
right.
the smithy is a location. Look at that. That was a good question, Sylvie. Good question. Right? But anyway, that's the way a comma works. So whenever you are giving an opinion, whenever you are expressing an opinion on writing, etc., you should use a comma at the beginning of the sentence. Because we normally say, the video talks about na 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 and etc. When I was a child, comma, person verb complement. I remember that the information in the video is right because this and this and this and that. These are called introductory phrases.
Introductory phrases. Or we could say, first of all, comma.
First of all, comma, definitely. That's another
When we're going to give an opinion, right?
Totally.
We can say beforehand, comma, or first of all, or to clarify some things. Well,
Exactly.
kind of like that.
And that's
Clarifying.
the last example that you said. To clarify starts with to. So this is another a very good example.
All right.
It starts with a connector.
Connector.
You see?
To is a connector?
Yes, of course, a preposition. And this that you mentioned, Aristoteles, is right here. When a sentence begins with to. Look at this example. Let's read this section. Help us, Rafa. Let's read all this.
Yes, teacher.
Action.
Looking for help, the man fell on his knees to beg.
Uh-oh, pronunciation.
Knees.
Yes, one time.
Looking for help, the man fell on his knees to beg.
Perfect. Continue.
The second sentence.
Yes.
Okay. To raise enough money in time, Mary had to issue stock in her business. Okay. The next one is to ski. to ski is exil, I know it.
Exhilarating.
Oh, wait. No spoilers, sorry, Sotolis.
Exhilar- exhilarating.
Excellent. Exhilarating. That's correct. Perfect. To ski is exhilarating. This specific application, right? The comma here is incorrect because even though we're using the connector to, technically the subject is to ski.
Yes.
Which is similar to say skiing, ing. Skiing is exhilarating. In that particular case, it's incorrect to use the comma because it's a subject. It's a verb in the position of the subject. So we can understand, if we take these examples into consideration, we are going to see the following stuff. Look, let me put this here, close this one up. I'm gonna take this into consideration. It's a gerund phrase. For example, this one, looking for help. Or when you have a infinitive phrase. Infinitive phrase is similar to say to plus verb, for example, here. But if you have only the infinitive only, or gerund only, then the comma is not necessary because they are technically working as the subject of the sentence, which is happening in the last example over here. Questions?
Teacher, may I take a screenshot?
Yes, please. Of course, I
But
have to organize this for you.
to
Just like
no,
that?
no. The other part of the screen, the rules.
The rules?
Yeah.
It's the same, man. This information is the same, only that is too small. I suggest you take it like that.
Okay.
Maybe
Thank you.
just like that. Action.
Thank you.
So the usage of commas in this case is not that complicated. This is something you usually do when you are speaking. Now let's transfer this to our English production. Okay? So let's talk about, in order to practice this, let's write a little essay together as an exercise. We're going to use our opinion to talk about drivers in our city. Ask yourself, what would you do to improve the way drivers behave in the streets of your city? The mission of this writing is to use adverbs and to use commas the proper way.
Excuse me, teacher. I think it's wrong. It spells improve, not improve.
Import. That's a typo. There you go.
All right.
Perfect.
Hey.
Thank you very much. So, what would you do to improve the way drivers behave in the streets of your city? That one over here, I need you to practice number one, all the adverbs that we have practiced before, which is the one we saw here. Number two, use of the article. And number three, use of commas. I want you to be very, very detailed on the way you express your opinions, the way you put words together, etc. And I need you to send it to me via either WhatsApp or email, whichever you like. Okay? You're going to take
All right.
a couple of minutes. Let's take 15 minutes for that. And then we check one of them. Ready?
All right. So it's kind of a mini essay.
Exactly. Mini essay
All right.
talking about this topic. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Okay, I got one. Perfect. What about the rest, guys?
Sorry, teacher, I'm a bit occupied, so I'll answer you in a minute.
Okay, no problem.
Busy, I'm a bit busy, yeah.
No problem, brother.
Teacher, should we send this thing to the chat or by WhatsApp?
WhatsApp. I prefer WhatsApp because I can copy paste. The chat
Okay.
doesn't allow me.
Okay, sure.
There we go. So then let's end up the clock and let's see how you wrote. Okay, the first one that I got is this one. And let's do some feedback on it. It says traffic accidents are a big obstacle for our society. I think this happens for a wrong administration time, rush and distractions. Okay. However, Mexico has a chance to change this disgusting fact. I'm deeply sure. Oh, that was a very good use of commas. Yeah, I like that one. If I were president, I would create strong laws for the transit environment. Also, I would put special attention to drivers' test. This one in particular is not necessary, brother. So let's take a comparison. Okay. The one over here, we will change as a comma in a period. Do you see it? Rafa?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So this one is going to be changed from a comma to a period because the word also usually opens a new idea. Okay? And because you have a lot of information before, you have a conditional if. If I will be present, I will create strong laws for the rest of the environment. This would be like something called thesis statement. A thesis statement is a sentence that will give context to the next paragraph. You know, so there should be number one, another paragraph in this case, and number two, this is the principal information. The rest is going to be an explanation or an expansion of your principal idea. Okay.
Okay.
Also, I would put a special attention to driver's test. Okay. I would pay special attention. In English, you don't put attention, you pay it. Okay.
Okay.
And we need to make sure that it is doing correctly. The structure that you need here is, in this case, what is it? Who is it in this case?
The driver test.
Exactly. So you are giving the priority to the object of the sentence. Do you remember what happens to the structure when we change the priority of the subject and the object?
What happened with when what? Sorry.
With the structure of the verb construction.
Um.
In other words, when the object is more relevant than the subject.
The passive voice.
Exactly. So the passive voice is structure number 9, is verb to be, right? Plus past participle.
Is done.
Excellent. We need to make sure that it is done correctly. Yes or no?
Yes.
Next correction. We are talking about a specific driver's test. Okay? Therefore,
Okay.
we need an article.
Okay.
That's the previous lesson.
Yes.
And last but not least, I would president. This is the structure structure number 7. Do you have it, the handbook with you?
Nah, I need to open it.
Don't worry, it's not necessary anyway, because would is not necessary. Okay? This is a conditional for imaginary situation. You know? You are not the president. But if I were the president, I would
I
be it.
were. The number 7.
That's number 7. No, it is not in the condition in the handbook.
No.
No, because it's a special lesson that I need to complete next month with you. It's conditionals precisely.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
So that's gonna be next part. But
If
when you
I
talk
were
about
president.
sounds weird, no? Because the past of I am is I was,
Yes.
except when you are talking about imaginary situations.
Okay.
Take a note about that.
And for he, she, and it.
Where?
So always were for imaginary situations.
Right.
Okay.
This is a special exception for to change the meaning of the verb, because if you speak in past, it's true. And if you say this exception, it's not true, it's imaginary.
Okay.
Hashtag English.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay.
Super weird. So we need to make sure that it is done correctly. I think these changes can improve the way drivers behave in the streets now, in the streets of my city. That's right. So the application of the comma that you made in this moment was here. Mexico has a chance to change this disgusting fact, comma, I'm deeply sure. That was a good way. Now, remember, what we are practicing right now is only prepositional phrases, which means a preposition and the corresponding location. You used a full sentence. You have Mexico person, then verb has, and complement a chance to change this disgusting fact. So you have too much information. You need to use only a preposition and the complement of a preposition. With possibly a noun, for example, let's say, for example, Mexico, no, about this disgusting fact, comma, I'm deeply sure Mexico has a chance.
Okay.
That's another form to say the same.
Okay.
Another, using the gerund, for example, ing. Taking this disgusting fact in mind, comma, I'm deeply sure Mexico has a chance. Or to change this disgusting fact, I'm deeply sure Mexico has a chance. Same.
Yeah, you're right.
There we go. Take a screenshot of your feedback while we pass to Jessie, because Jessie will take attendance. Hello, Jess. Good night.
Hi. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
There you go.
So I will take attendance, please. Is here Mike?
Absent.
All right, Rafael.
Yeah, just see him here. Good night.
Hi, Rafael. Thank you. Good night. Silvana?
Silvana.
I'm here, Jessie.
Oh.
Thank you, Silvana. Good night.
Good night.
Isaac?
Yeah.
Hi, Isaac. Thank you. Alex?
Alex, absent.
All right. And Luis.
Luis. Luis, absent.
All right. Thank you. And welcome, Aristotle. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jessie.
You're welcome. See you.
See you. All right. Any questions, guys? Do you see how this is working?
Actually, I think that using this like structure, it could well, the text looks like a more formal.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. It's more formal, and that's more Well, even if it's more formal, it's very common, you know.
Yes, it
Nowadays.
looks more natural. How to say natural?
Exactly, natural. I like
Silvana
it.
says native.
Native, probably too. It will be a
Yes,
combination of both.
yes, but I think that the problem is that we are like trying to use the same structures that we use in Spanish.
Yes,
Yes, and
exactly.
no, maybe we need to improve this skill by trying to use more how can I say it? Like more uh, unusual structure for us. Yes,
Totally true. Totally
yes.
true. Something very relevant here is there are two things happen normally when we are talking about thinking in this way. One is the structures that we stick to the Spanish way of speaking, no? But other very important is that when we are comfortable with a simple manner of speech, we continue in this comfort zone. For example, using person verb complement period, person verb complement period, person verb complement period. As we are in intermediate speakers, we have a trajectory of English, and we have very well practiced this formation of words. You know, it's person verb complement finish, person verb complement finish, and it's so simple. So in order to give the next step, we need to take ourselves out of this comfort area by using number one, this application of deeply. I am pretty sure that was one intention in the case of Rafa. Because if we think in Spanish, we never use that. And that was a very good shot. You know?
Yes, yes, I think that it's something that makes that makes look the that improve the writing that you are presenting, no? Because it sounds more like yes, as I think that's Silvana mentioned, it's more native
More
that
native.
if we write like we think in Spanish.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Usage of adverbs and position of words takes you closer to a native speech. So this structure and adverbs change completely the way you speak. Completely. So let's see yours, shall we?
No, no,
No.
please. Well,
Good luck.
actually, I don't have. I think that it doesn't make sense, but I was trying to complete something. But yes,
Okay,
let's
I,
see.
let's
I
see.
trust
Yes.
in you, Isaac.
Exactly. Trust yourself, bro.
No, I don't.
You are the man.
Yeah. Okay, here you have it. This is the original one.
Yes. Vana is already reviewing, so
Perfect.
Teacher, I didn't do mine.
You didn't do
I
yours.
am just arriving.
I know. Don't worry. You can send it to me via homework or yeah. Keep it for after the class. Send it to me so I can give it a look.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So let's check. In my opinion, to improve drivers, that's a very good comma. That's precisely a prepositional phrase. But you know what? You, like Aristotle said, you abused the usage of commas.
yes, I know.
Because you have to improve our drivers' behavior in our city, it is necessary to educate them
I
in
think
different
that we
ways.
can eliminate the one that is
The
of the city. Yes,
which one?
after the city.
No, that's a good one.
Really?
Yes, you
Oh,
need to eliminate this one.
in my opinion, the brother behaviors in our city. Oh yes, because we can say that well, this complete.
Exactly, is the expansion of the same phrase, no?
Okay, yes,
This
yes.
is what we have in this case. Look, on the sand, comma, of the beach, comma by the inlet. The beach or the sand has the same beach. The beach corresponds to the sand, so this comma is not necessary. This one over here is what happened to you.
Okay, yes.
Interesting, no?
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yes, it is. It
And
is. It is.
I think that I get used to writing only like you mentioned in this simple structure that we use a person verb complement, and I'm using this for everything. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to do in a different yeah.
That's good. That's good. That doesn't that is actually improving because you can say, okay, this person verb complement has a connection with this person verb complement. So probably in this case, I will need to keep them together. But the next person verb complement now is separated. This is where I need a comma.
Yes. Okay.
You know, in my opinion, to improve drivers behavior in our city, it is necessary to educate. That's the way. Anyway, this part
Mm-hmm.
is a prepositional phrase. So this is directly connected to this.
Mm-hmm.
That one is right.
Okay.
Okay. Authorities may establish some schools, training centers, or online courses that offers resources, so drivers can be conscious about the things that surround them. Authorities may establish some schools, training centers, or online courses that offer resources, so drivers can be conscious of the things that surround them. Separate comma when you are. That's precisely the same thing. This person verb
Okay.
complement
Mm-hmm.
is connected to the next person verb complement. Therefore, this comma is extra information.
Okay.
It over separates. It's too many commas. Next, establishing a mandatory course to obtain a driver license.
Oh yes, the possessive.
Driver's license could improve everybody's knowledge. Same thing.
Okay, yes.
About the
I
regulations.
totally see
Yeah. To be followed while driving. Lastly, very good. Excellent. You use an adverb. Adding road signs is also helpful. Those elements aware drivers. Can we use aware as a verb? Wait. I don't think so, eh?
that.
No. The verb that you needed is warn.
Oh, warm. Okay.
Drivers about the precautions they need to take when they are near to a school. School.
Oh, yeah.
School starts with a consonant. Or a hospital and avoid accidents. Very good. So yes, you did it. You had
I
an adverb.
kind.
Well, I mean, extra information, but that's not bad. You know, that's gonna be
Yes.
now the focus on your next writings. Check if the comma is necessary in your case.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Got it?
Yes. I
Very good
think.
job.
Thanks.
Excellent, man. Okay, let's keep it over here. Rafa, I made the screenshot better so you can take a better screenshot because it was a mess down the other one. And guys, thank you for coming. Excellent class. I will stick here for with that is. In this moment, we finished.
Thank you, teacher.
Have
See
a very
you.
nice day. I'll see you tomorrow with the next part. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you.